Hi everyone, it's Nancy from Bookarma. Thanks for joining me today on Chatback, which is a warm webcast for Bookarma authors. Now, this is a weekly event where I either show you the features and best practices to help you get the most out of Bookarma, or we'll have an industry expert on who can share their expertise about book marketing with you. So mark your calendars for every week, and I hope you'll join us at that time. Now, an important part of this webcast is the part that I call shout out, and that's where you are able to tell us what's working on Bookarma, what's not, what ideas that you might have, because we definitely want to hear from you, our authors. Our intent is to connect authors with their audiences, and we do that by, helping you to break out of the boundaries of your own social network to reach a global audience. So let us know what's working, and you can use the chat box that you'll see down on your screen for that. So I'm looking forward to hearing you. And by the way, we listen to you. We really do. We recently slashed our prices from $15 a month to campaign a book on Bookarma to $1.99. And the reason we did that is we want every author to be able to expand their audience and to reach new people and new readers who are looking for entertainment or the message that you have to offer. So we are listening, so keep talking to us. So today we're going to talk about why even share other authors' books. And as you know, Bookarma operates on this principle of giving first. But why should you really do that? So what we're going to learn today are a couple of things about sharing books, one of which is how to filter your queue by genre, and what to think about, what to consider when you share other authors' books. And thirdly, and this is probably pretty important to you, why some authors may refuse to share your book. So we'll explore that as well. So as you know, Bookarma is a pay-it-forward platform that allows you, like I said, to break out of those boundaries of your own social networks to reach an audience that you could never reach on your own. And it's based on karma, hence the name Bookarma. And you know how karma works. It's what you give out is what returns to you. If we focus on giving and sharing and helping others, then that positive energy will return to us. Now, it may go against some people's natural grain to share other authors' books, but hey, look, we are not in competition with each other. People are going to always buy books. It's not like they are only going to buy one book and it's either yours or mine. People are always going to buy books. So let's drop that whole competitive mindset and let's get the karma going. So, now, the pay-it-forward part of Bookarma means that when you share other authors' books, what happens is your karma score goes up. And I'm going to show you that right here. So let's take a look here. I don't even know, maybe you don't even know where your karma score is, but it's right up here. When you log into Bookarma, you'll see it. It's that number right up here. Mine happens to be 59. And as you can imagine, I share a lot of books on Bookarma. And so every night we calculate a new karma score for you. And the higher your score, the earlier and more often your book is delivered to the book queue. So, and since it's so easy to log in and just click to share, many authors really don't get past the first few pages as they scroll through their book queue. So they're taking a look at and sharing the books that are on these first few pages. So it is definitely to your advantage to raise your karma score, and you can do that by sharing more books more often. So that's something to tuck away in your little knowledge file about best practices for Bookarma, is to log in and be active on the platform. Now, how do you share, and what should you share? If you follow our blog post, you'll know that we have some of this, or quite a bit of this information out there on the blog. But here's an example of one of our blog posts, and it gives you tips for sharing your book with on Bookarma. So we suggest that you share to your network and not necessarily to your own tastes. And let's say, for example, you write, you write nonfiction, and you're thinking, oh, well, my audience likes nonfiction, so I'm only going to share that. Well, I would argue with that. I would say that your audience reads more than one type of book, and so share things from other genres. Don't limit yourself. And likewise, you don't want other authors to only share in their genre, because that's maybe not what they may be reading. Your book may not be in their genre, but we want the full, I would say, power of the platform to go out to connect you with new readers. People read all types of stuff, so share it to your network and not to your taste. Another tip for you is to share a book more than once, and I'm going to get into that in a minute when we look at the next blog post, and I'll tell you why. It's all based on the principle of advertising and the number of impressions that it takes to move people to action, but that's another tip for you, to share a book more than once. And of course, the more books you share, the higher your karma score, so exposure is key. And we suggest that you go to Bookarma every day and share a couple of books. Watch your karma score go up. That's how you climb the queue, is by sharing more books. So let's talk about how to be successful and how to put this karma principle to work for you. Again, we want to focus on giving. You can't give too much. Dare to share the other books, even if they're not in your own genre. And why is that? Why do we want to share books more than one time? Well, this is from an article it's a portion of Thomas Smith's book called Successful Advertising. And they've done a lot of research in advertising. They spend millions of dollars on ads. Especially, Super Bowl ads are the probably cream of the crop and the top dollar price. But people aren't moved to action the first time that they see something. They need multiple impressions in order to be moved to action, whether it's clicking on the book or purchasing the book. So on Bookarma, we really encourage our authors to share other books more than once. And guess what? You want other authors to share your book more than once as well. It's not like, oh, I already sent that out, so I'm not going to do that again. But like I said, it says, by about the 8th time, people start to think, oh, there's that again. Let me take a look. Now, we're hoping it doesn't take them 8 times, because our books are fabulous. What they see in their Twitter feed and in their Facebook feed is these beautiful covers that you all have developed. And I think, we see that the results are absolutely stunning, that measure the number of clickbacks, and the ratio between the number of times your book's shared to the number of clickbacks is really phenomenal, and I hope you've taken a look at that to see what your results are. So another thing that you can do to spread the karma is to invite other authors to join Bookarma. There's no reason they can't afford it now. I can't imagine any author not wanting to spend $1.99 a month to get their book exposed to an audience that they couldn't reach on their own. But we need your help to spread the word. So give that karma out too, and we'll be very happy, to add more authors. And the more authors we have, the more opportunities your book has to go out to places it's never been before. So we really are counting on you all to spread the word about Bookarma. Now, let's talk about your book queue, about how you can, different ways that you can view your queue, and you can filter it by genre, if you so choose. Now, sometimes I think, okay, this week I want to share children's books, or this week I want to share nonfiction books, or this week I want to share historical fiction books, and the queue filter allows me to do that. So in order to change your queue filter, right now you can see right here, I have it filtered all fiction and all nonfiction. So I'm going to change that, and I'm just going to want to modify the filter to just display fiction. So all I do is I click off of the other options. There's children's books and poetry and languages, and right now I just want to share fiction. So I'm going to apply that filter, and here are the fiction books on Bookarma. So I'll scroll through and I'll take a look at a couple of them, and I'll say, okay, I think I like the look of this one, Interrogation by Scott Miller. So I click on that, I've given it a rating. I think this author has done a phenomenal job. His cover is beautiful. His descriptions are incredible. His social messages are good. And so I'm going to go ahead and share that with my network. And you'll see that I have several Facebook pages for my different interests, but I share to all of them. You may not want to do that. Some authors don't want to share their personal timeline, but they want to share to their author pages, and you can certainly do that. But I'm going to share this one to all of my Facebook pages. And with one click, there we go. And it says, you gave karma. So we know that that went out. Now let's talk about one other thing on this webcast today, and that is why other authors might not want to share your book. And it's usually for one of two reasons. Either they don't like your cover, or they don't like your social messages. And I am not going to pick on anyone specifically here. I'm just going to take a look at, let's take a look at some of the social messages. I have no idea what they say, but we're just going to click around and take a look at what they say. Now, this is a great social message because it doesn't say anything like, oh, this is the best book on Bookarma or something like that. When social messages say that, and make it sound like a personal recommendation, I don't share those kind of books because I haven't read these books. I haven't read all of them, and neither of you. We don't expect you to do that. And so the social messages shouldn't say something that sounds like it's a commercial for the book or like you read it. Then these look good too. They have edited the message. It's not that just that generic message that we have populated in there at first. They've changed the messages and taken time. And, I think our authors are doing a really good job. I'm just trying to find one that might have, a more basic message and all. Well, that one looks good too. I'm so glad. But there are a few in here that hopefully they've changed, but they've left that standard message like I just put my book on Bookarma, or why would I share something that said, I just put my book on Bookarma when it's not my book? So pay attention to your social messages. The real great formula for writing a compelling social message is to say, who's the audience, a little bit about the book, and then the hashtag Bookarma. So, for example, if you write historical fiction, you might say, for historical fiction lovers, take a look at what I found on hashtag Bookarma. Now, why is that hashtag important? Why do we want you to leave that hashtag in there? Well, there's really a good reason for that. Number one, we have a lot of followers on Twitter who follow the Bookarma hashtag. We want them to see your book. So when it's in there, they'll see that your book has been shared. And also, for retweeting purposes, it goes further than just the initial author sharing. It goes out to others, the Twitter universe that we love to talk about, that, there's just no end to it. I mean, think about it. Twitter is, it's an interesting thing because what Bookarma gives you is kind of roots and wings. Twitter, when you tweet something, it goes out forever. You don't even know where it goes. It gets wings and flies out, especially through retweets. And we do really encourage our authors to retweet those Bookarma tweets. So that's another way that you can give karma and be more successful on the platform. So don't forget that the secret to success on Bookarma is to be a giver. We are not in competition with each other. We're all authors here to support one another. And your book can go further, faster when you share another author's share. And again, we really, really encourage you to invite your author friends to join us on Bookarma so that they can get a wider audience for their book. And the more authors that we have on the platform, the further and farther your book will go as well.